Morning, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I'm beginning to work on a dip net here. I formed this net earlier in the spring from a pliable piece of arrow wood and just lashed it together quickly to make this loop on this end. And now I'm getting ready to lash it down to a handle. So I've put a thicker piece of handle material in between the two, and I've started with a timber hitch. And I'm going to show you real quick a simple trick on how to keep this tight that's used by broom makers. And this was taught to me by Tony Daniel. And instead of using a broom turner, I'm not even sure what the correct name for that piece is, but it's a piece of wood that you wrap your line around. You put your foot on top of it, and as you tighten down, you're keeping pressure on that with your feet to let it release slowly so that you can keep this lashing tight. What I'm going to do instead is just stand on the string. So let me show you that real quick. Okay, so I left my cordage on the roll, so I don't have to worry about how much I'm going to use or cutting the right amount. Now, I'm going to use a technique very similar to what broom makers use. And I was taught this by Tony Daniel. And they generally coil their string or their cord around a block that they can hold under their feet to pull tension up on to twist the lashing down. And if you're doing a long shear lashing, instead of pulling on that lashing all the time to keep it taut and worrying about how much string you've got and did you cut enough, is it long enough? Is it too long? Did you waste cordage? This is a really easy way to do this. Just stand on the cord, pull straight up into yourself with it, and that will make that lashing tight as you go down. Keep all of your wraps nice and neat. Dress everything up as you go. And when you get down to where you need to let some more line out, just let a little bit more out and stand on it again. And you can pull up quite a bit of tension on that thing to keep that lashing nice and tight. And basically all this is a shear lash. That's lashing three pieces together with the body of this net going around a larger handle, so that I can then weave the net portion into it for a landing net. I purposely went up a little further here than it was bent, just to give myself a little bit of extra support there. This is really, really quick. It's really easy. And it's really efficient. Now I'll show you how we tie this off when we get to the top. You can see what I'm getting right now. Okay, now as we get close to the end here, we're going to put what's called a jerk string in here. We're going to start wrapping that in. We're just going to put it underneath everything just like this. And it's just a loop. And I'll explain to you what it's used for here in a minute. But we're just going to wrap it into our wrapping. Kind of make sure it's up here in the middle. Just like that. Make sure we got enough loop exposed up there. Keep it right in the center. And then we're just going to treat it like it wasn't even there. And wrap this thing the rest of the way up. And I would recommend 8 or 10 wraps at least around that jerk string. I may have more than that, but it's not going to hurt anything. And now I'm getting up here to the top of this thing, so I'm trying to really put some stress on this to pull these uprights together on this handle. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to cut off this tag. And then we want to uncoil our jerk string here if it got twisted a little bit in there. Put that tail right through the jerk string, and then come over to our jerk string and put a toggle in there and start to pull that down. And what we want to do is we want to pull that right in there just like that until it pulls straight through the bottom, and then we can take this and trim it off and burn it down. And now we've got a good solid frame on our dip net. With a nice handle, we can cut this thing off to the length we want, and we're ready to weave a net in here.